body of Tim Miller's daughter, Laura, is one of 4 that turned up in this League City field between 1983 and 1991.
Why don't we want to solve this? This is a big deal here.
It was kind of a Wild West. There was a lot of good old boys type stuff going on.
I invented drive-by shootings in Dickinson, Texas. Yes, I fought Clyde Hedrick.
Wrong place, wrong time, you know, run into the devil sometimes.
Now we really have a reason for this to be called the damn killing fields.
As you can imagine, I mean, it fractured us. It was something missing after that. Not just her physically, but just the light in my grandparents' eyes. It's like it got snuffed out when they found her remains.
September 10th, 1984, and I'll never ever forget that day.
It was just like she had died that moment. Even though she'd been dead that long and I'd been looking for her all that time.
There were decades and days and months and nights of nightmares and fear.
I used to walk up to this cross, just like this, and I'd look at that cross, and I'd look at Laura's picture. I'd say, Laura, please don't hate your daddy. I can't come out here anymore. I have to put my life back together. And literally, Robert, I'd be walking away like this, and over my left shoulder, I'd hear this little voice say, Dad, don't quit. It's like, damn you, Laura, what are you talking about? When Laura's body was found, one of the things I was so pissed off about is I did everything I knew how to do to keep this little girl alive, and somebody else determined to take her life. Tim Miller, Laura Miller's father, and also founder director of Texas EquiSearch. And we came out here, and we walked around, and it was all grown up and stuff, and it was an old basically abandoned oil field. And I don't know how much time I spent out here, and then we see this little path going in somewhere, and walked in there and seen all the flags where Laura's body parts were found. And then only about 60 feet away, we seen another flag and crime scene tape, of course, where then Jane Doe, now known as Audrey Cook, was found. And I remember the anger that set in at that time. I thought at that time that if they would have listened to me, if they would have came out here and searched, they would have found Laura's body. She would have been dead. But there may have been some damn evidence. You just want to believe everything, and the calls I got from psychics and stuff. Oh my God, I'd go all over the place at that time. There was actually an Indian one time that came out here and set up a teepee and stuff. And it was going to get rid of all the evil and find out who killed, you know, the girls and everything. And at that time, I believed that. I came out here, I sat with him, smoked a peace pipe, did all kind of crazy stuff looking back. I lost all faith in the police department. So I was believing in psychics. I was believing in Indians. I was, they don't teach you how to do this in school or anywhere when you got a child that's missing.
How did it affect your marriage?
Oh, Laura's mom and me got divorced 6 months after Laura's body was found. And looking back, there was a lot of struggles in our life because of Laura's physical condition and now mental condition and stuff, and it took a huge strain on the family, a huge strain. And you know, we lost a son by crib death, and I don't know we ever got over that. And then my brother committed suicide just prior to Laura's disappearance. And so there was a lot of losses, there was a lot of grief, and there was a breaking point. Alcohol did a wonderful job for a while. For a while. It's been many, many years since I've had a drink. Laura's body was found February 2nd. February 17th, we had Laura's funeral scheduled. And 2 days prior to that, Rex Fancher, detective, came back to me and he said, listen, is there any way you can just have a memorial service? Because the medical examiner wants to keep Laura's body a little bit longer. He wants to do some work on it, see if we can determine cause of death and stuff. Well, of course, as a father, I said, yeah, I want to know what she died of and stuff. So yes, we'll do that. I said, how much longer do you think? He said, probably 60 days. And I said, it's not a problem. Well, 60 days came and went. 6 months, 1 year, 2 years, 3 years and 9 months later, we finally got to get Laura's remains. 3 years and 9 months.
Did they determine what killed her?
No. So there was Laura's mom, Laura's sister, Laura's boyfriend, and me. It was very quiet and private. We buried Laura. We got her little headstone, and Laura finally has her little resting place. I'll never forget, it was November 1989. We finally buried Laura. March of 1992, there was another chain of custody where League City Police Department's gotten basically all Laura's remains from her shoulders through her hips and sent off in a FedEx box to some college for them to just do research on. And it's like, wait a minute, how could that happen?
You found out that even though you buried your daughter in 1989, the paperwork showed that some of her remains had been sent off to a college for...
1992, just research. Then I was looking through some more of the paperwork, and then 2 years later, there's another chain of custody where some more of Laura's remains and her hair was sent off. So I've got this 2 chain of custody papers. I go to League City Police Department. Now Rex Fancher is chief of police, and I go in his office. I'm screaming at him. I said, Rex, where the hell's my daughter? Oh, Tim, you buried her. I said, I thought that I did. I said, but I had some paperwork that says something different. They said, well, let us make copies of that. We'll look into it. I'll never forget it was on a Monday. They said, we'll get back to you by Friday. Well, of course, Friday, they didn't get back with me. The next Friday, they did. And then the next week, I got a hold of Lee Hamill, my attorney, and we went to Lake City Police Department, and my attorney said, I'm not saying you're getting sued, I'm not saying you're not. We just want some answers. Well, we sat in there for a good while, and we didn't get any answers.
You did or didn't?
Didn't. And in fact, they didn't even want to talk. And then my attorney said, hey, boys, it looks like we're going to exhume a body. So we exhumed Laura's body.
You did that? Did you get a court order for that, or the police?
No, we did it. We did it. Now remember, there's 212 bones in a human body. Guess how many there were? 28 bones. This is the hard part now, Robert. Now, I didn't even believe it was Laura. I was lied to so much. I didn't even believe it was her. I took my own daughter's skull to a dentist and had him do dental x-rays. And yeah, they did determine it was Laura. Then we filed a lawsuit. Went to mediation before we was going to go to court. And then I came up with an agreement. My lawyer didn't want to do it. He wanted to take it to court. I said, listen, I don't want their damn money. I just want Laura's remains.
What was the agreement? What was the
agreement? Was I was walking away. All I want is Laura's remains.
And they agreed to retrieve her remains from the colleges?
They had them back at the ME's office. So then, we get Jeter Funeral Home. We have a chain of custody. They go to the constable's office. They get that body bag with the bones. They go to the medical examiner's office. They get what he's got. They take him up to Dr. Gil King, University of North Texas. My attorney calls me the next week. He said, Tim, we got a brand new problem. I said, Lee, what could that problem be? He said, Laura's got 31 ribs. The human body's only got 24. Well, then I'm furious again. I said, you know what, how in the hell are they ever going to solve this case? Now they got bones mixed together and stuff. How in the hell are they going to do it? So, of course, they got to do DNA, and they got to sort everything out and stuff. So then finally, we get Laura's remains back. We bury her again.
Who authorized?
I don't know. We could never get an answer. So then they find out those other 7 ribs that was mixed up with Laura, well, they belong to Audrey Cook.
Audrey was found the same day that they found Laura's remains,
yes.
Correct, okay. But they weren't found in the same spot.
60 feet away. 3 years ago on a Monday morning. Why is all this stuff happening on a Monday? Richard Rennison calls me up with the FBI and says, can you come down to my office on Wednesday morning? And I said, sure. So I'm thinking we got some new information. So I go in his office, and Jack Rody and Kevin Petroff's there from the DA's office, and Jack looks at me and says, I don't know how to tell you this except just tell you. And I said, what, Jack? He said, well, they was going through the medical examiner's office. They found some more remains, and those remains belonged to Laura. That's only 3 years ago. I looked at Jack and I said, Jack, you know, in a perfect world, a child's supposed to bury their parent. I said, but unfortunately, there's circumstances once in a while where a parent has to bury their child. I said, do you think it's right? I get to bury my same daughter 3 different times because of all the damn mistakes?
The last time that they found some of Laura's remains, the DA's office here came and met with me, and they knew that I knew Tim pretty well, so I volunteered to be the one to tell him, and oof, it was a tough day. Tough day for Tim. My name is Richard Rennison. I'm a retired special agent with the FBI.
There was a shirt that was found beside Laura's body. I didn't know anything about that shirt. Let me tell you when I found out about that shirt. Is after we had Laura's body exhumed, and my attorney under the Open Records Act got all the pictures of the crime scene and everything. It's pretty difficult to look through those too. And that's when I seen the picture of the shirt with a tag on it. So I go to League City Police Department, and I said, listen, where's this shirt? I said, and I wasn't being ugly. I said, where's this shirt at? I said, in 1986, you could not do DNA. I said, today you can. Oh, we don't have no damn shirt. I showed them a picture. Yeah, you do. Where's the shirt? They lost the shirt.
So there's a Western shirt that was found the day that Laura and Audrey Lee Cook were found in the field off Calder Road. It's photographed, and it was photographed, it looks like, back at the police department or the ME's office. That shirt has disappeared. And we don't know if League City's the one who lost it or if it was the ME's office who lost it. League City Police Department was in a different building in '83 than they were in the 90s than they were in the 2000s. So they've moved twice. And so when you move evidence, it can happen. The Galveston County Medical Examiner's office moved recently, and I think there was some hope that maybe the shirt would turn up when they completely vacated the old building, but it didn't happen.
When they got Audrey's body, he put her in this big vat with boiling water and, from what I understand, kind of like an acid soap solution to go ahead and boil all the skin off of her body to see if there's any stab wounds, this, that, or the other. Instead, why in the hell didn't they x-ray her? Well, when they was cleaning out the vat, they heard something rolling around, and it was a Federal .22 long rifle bullet. So now when they get that bullet, they send it off to ballistics. Well, the kind of acid soap solution stuff destroyed the bullet, so they couldn't do ballistics on it. Why in the hell wasn't she x-rayed first?
The bullet wasn't there before they put Audrey in there, and the bullet was there after, so obviously came from somewhere in her body or on her body. And but that also, I believe that process ruled out some ballistics testing that could have been done.
She was probably 5'6", 5'7", and she might have weighed 120 pounds, so she was tall. But she could hold her own. She would, if it had been where she could have fought somebody that was going to hurt her, she would have. I know her well enough to know that. I'm Shirley Love. I am Audrey Cook's sister-in-law. The coroner's report, I asked, where's the evidence? The fingernails were clipped. They're not to be found. That's frustrating because of the DNA that we can have now. If those could be found, that's frustrating as a family. It's not going to bring her back, but just for somebody to pay for what they did.
The day before her funeral, the funeral director, who was a close family friend and had taken care of my oldest sister, he actually came and picked me up. He said the day before I went to finalize the program, and he said, "Darling, I'm not going to be able to cremate your sister." And I said, "What?" And she's got 4 or 5 different death certificates, all saying something different. One even said a car wreck. So he said, "I can't cremate her, and I can't authorize this till I get a valid death certificate." There were 5 death certificates, all saying something different, and I found that out the day before her funeral.
What?
Is this your first time to hear this?
Yes, ma'am. Was that coming from the Galveston County Medical Examiner?
I said, "We're having a funeral tomorrow. I've been waiting on this for 30 years. And he said, "Oh yeah, pick out an urn." So that's what we did. But what I can say to you, it was just like her dying all over again. Every single one of those calls, every single one of those events, when you wait a whole year for a death certificate, that's the final closure.
What did the final death certificate say?
A homicide.
A lot of bad luck in this case. It's unfortunate. It really is. And that's such an understatement. To say it's unfortunate, it's tragic.
When I'd come out here, I seen Heidi's headstone over there. And I would go over by Heidi's headstone and stuff. And one day I came out here and was putting little trinkets and stuff on Laura's headstone. And I seen this family over there. And I was real reluctant to go talk to them because I remember Lake City Police said, "Don't talk to Heidi's parents." And finally I got the courage up and I walked over there and I said, "Mr. Villarreal, you're Heidi's dad. Let me introduce myself." And he said, "No, you're Mr. Miller. You're Laura's dad." And I said, "Yes." He said, "I don't know if it's appropriate or not to talk to you because Lake City Police Department said don't talk to you." He said, "Mr. Miller, Lake City Police Department told me not to talk to you." It's the first time we met was right here.
It's still November 11, 1984. I called the police and I asked to talk to Gibson or to Pat. But since they haven't called me, I have to just keep calling them. I know I'm a pest, but I can't help it. I was a pest before. I'm just continue being a pest until I find out.
That was my grandfather. He was all about documenting things. He just was always journaling, and he was always felt like he needed to just record things. Day one since she went missing, he was calling around trying to locate people, trying to find friends, and he'd write down his notes. But because he had previously had a stroke, he was afraid he would remember everything, so he could tell the police, so he would go to the recorder, and then he would talk to the recorder about it, and he would tape it to make sure he didn't miss any details.
I wish there was somebody somewhere that would help. I'm still not going to quit. I'm going to keep looking, searching. I'm going to find out somewhere. I've got to find her. It means so much to me.
I lived with him my senior year, and I'd see him come home and sit in his corner, the table, with his glass of iced tea, and he'd be talking into his recorder.
It's really getting to us now that we don't know what's happening at the police department. I'm sure that they, whatever information they have, they don't want no one to know. But it's gnawing at my insides now, to the point that I'm beginning to feel that the police department of League City may have dropped the case by now. I don't know why I have this feeling, because they have not talked to me.
Once my mother trusted me enough to give me possession of this stuff, and I started digging into it, I feel responsible for continuing to not let her murder be in vain, not let her just be forgotten, and not let whoever did this get away with it. I feel it's my responsibility, and it's the responsibility of our family to continue to get answers and justice for her. It would be easy just to put this behind us and move on and just let it lie. My grandmother did what she could, and then my mom, she still runs the ad every year on Heaty's birthday, Galveston Daily News. It's been running it for 40 years to honor her on her birthday every year.
Boy, if I had enough money to rent a billboard here in League City and put her picture, a big picture up there, to help, I'm sure that would do a lot of good.
I can't stop hoping. But I feel like, I won't let it go. Grandfather's still looking at me. And he's counting on us. He didn't do all that work for us to throw it in a closet and go, oh well, it is what it is. She was my Aunt Heedy. She was his baby girl. She was a mother. She was a sister. She was an aunt. But mostly she was a daughter. And she was a beautiful light.
I feel as though we've got a serial killer out here.
This 1993 affidavit from the League City Police Department supports Tim Miller's claim. It says Laura Miller and the three others were killed by a serial sexual offender. Supported by an FBI profile and testimony from two former wives, police said the killer was Robert William Abel.
Back in this area here is the site of the Laura Miller discovery.
This is Robert Abel. Nearly 4 years after the accusation, he continues to live in League City. He continues to own the land where the four bodies were found.
Their idea was that I would have bought this property so I could come back to the sites where these bodies were located and gloat over the success of a murder.
Charges were never filed, and to this day, Abel says he's innocent.
Are you responsible for the 4 bodies that were found on this property?
Absolutely not. And you know, another thing that really...
Absolutely not.
Absolutely not. Absolutely not.
After a search of his home and a lengthy investigation, Abel was never charged. But 4 years later, League City police say he remains a suspect.
They basically said you did it.
That's right.
They basically said you were responsible for the 4 murders.
That's right. They did. And, you know, you say, well, where'd I go wrong?
There wasn't Stardust Trail rides when Healy was found. There wasn't Stardust Trails yet when Laura and Audrey were found. He was actually in the process of building it and turning it into Stardust Trail rides.
So when did he become a suspect?
He became a suspect after Donna's body was found, because they said, well, his people found it and he's been out here and this, that, and the other. And I talked to Robert in detail about that day that the body was found. And then I actually got a copy of the search warrant on Robert's house and why they was going to search the house and when he bought the house, when he bought the property. Well, now it was kind of making a little bit of sense. Well, God, maybe it is this Robert Abel. And now I became obsessed over that again. Now there's new emotions.
Wait, but you put a gun to that man's head.
I put a gun to that guy's head. I did. That alcohol's wonderful things. Yeah, and I told him, I said, Robert, I don't want you dead. I said, because if you're dead, we're never gonna know who these other girls are. And I said, I'll remind you every day the rest of your life and what you did. I made his life miserable. I still carry some guilt about that. I do. I was responsible also for making his life a little bit miserable. But I remember that day that I seen him in Lake City. I pulled up beside him, asked him to pull over. And this is a pretty sad day. And he pulled over and I got out of my truck and he got out of his and I just hugged his neck.
When was this?
This was just a few months before he killed himself. And I said, Robert, I said, if there's any way you could ever find it in your heart to forgive me for what I've done to you. And I said, I would understand if you didn't. I said, but I'm so very, very sorry. And I hugged him and he cried and I cried. And he said, Mr. Miller, don't let that police department destroy your life like they've destroyed mine. I'll never, ever forget those words coming out of Robert Abel's mouth. And like 3 months later, he killed himself.
All right, Tim, where are we?
Well, right now we're right here at this four-way stop sign at the house that we lived in back at that time.
So Laura used to walk up and down this street.
Laura walked up and down the street all the time. There's a little cemetery right here at Dickinson, Iowa. She used to hang out at that cemetery. That was kind of a little peaceful place for her.
How close was Clyde to you?
It's only 2 houses in between her house and Clyde's house.
And you didn't know that at the time?
I didn't know that at the time. And very, very, very early on, right after Laura's body was found, Clyde's name was brought up. And then Vernon, which was Laura's boyfriend at the time, said that they would walk from here to the cemetery and stuff, and this guy would whistle all the time and everything. And one time they stopped, and this guy was actually talking to Laura, and Vern just felt uneasy about it and walked off and left.
I just tried to call, let you know that Galveston County come swatting my house this morning. I'm over here in Galveston County Jail for that Collar Road stuff with all them dead girls.